All right, so we're going to talk about the new portion fix. I know last week we kind of touched on a few of the things. We talked a little bit about intermittent fasting, but we're going to start to finish, go through the program, answer questions, and we may need to even take this into next week depending on how many questions we have or the details you want to talk about, or if I need to watch the video again to answer a question. That's the nice thing about these videos, is that it's there for you at any point. So if you need to revisit something, or maybe you've done really well and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, how do I handle this? You can always go back to them, see what's happening, get Autumn's take on things, and we can certainly talk about it in here too. That's the bonus of having this call every week. So let's start. Portion fix is new. And if you hadn't heard that yet, basically we had a lot of videos. I don't even know how many there were. But we are now down to a smaller amount of videos, what's called let me get the terminology right here. I wrote some stuff down.
There were 20 videos.
There were 20 before?
Yes, Sue and I just went through all that.
So it now she has a fix fast track. So she has a fix fast track. So it's 5 videos that are relatively quick that are going to get you set up on the plan, ready to go. And then you have a set of videos that lets you customize. So if you want to do certain things, which we're going to talk about in a second, with your planning, with your lifestyle, with how you like to structure your nutrition, then you can do those things. So the first piece and the most critical piece of portion fix is deciding what your goal is and figuring out the calorie bracket you're in with that goal. So you can lose weight, maintain, gain muscle, okay? And you can not work out at a moderate intensity, or work out at a high intensity. Oh, great, my dog's playing with a can, so hang on. Okay, this is
everybody know what path they're picking?
This is the joy of having construction workers at your house, right? Okay. So, you have to figure out those things, and let's just touch on this just really quick. This lose weight, maintain, gain muscle. Okay, because I know I hear from a lot of people, well, I want to lose weight and I want to gain muscle, or I want to, I just have 10 pounds, or I have like 10 pounds or less to lose, but I want to lose weight. So let's start first with the lose weight, gain muscle. Those are actually opposite nutrition plans. Okay, so if you want to lose weight, you'll eat in a calorie deficit. If you want to gain muscle mass, you need to eat in a calorie surplus. So what you can do is decide to do one and then do the other. Or the option is somewhere in the middle, which is maintenance. And that means that you're transforming your body composition at the same time that you're doing some other things. So you're not necessarily in maintenance going to put on a lot of muscle mass, but on some days where you have some caloric surplus, you can gain muscle mass. Plus, with more muscle mass, you're burning through more. So then your body fat percentage can decrease. So it's like they're working together at the same time to do those things. Now, that wouldn't be like bodybuilder muscle mass gaining, right? That's just going to be at kind of a regular level. If you wanted to do, body composition or body competitions, then you would definitely be eating in a surplus for muscle mass. So let's talk about just that in general. Does anybody have any questions about that? Like picking your calorie bracket, what those things mean?
So you can't do both of them at the same time,
right?
So if you want to lose weight and put on muscle, should you do the plan that loses weight first, and then when you're down to your weight, then concentrate on the gaining muscle? Is that how it works?
You can do either way. Now, you can get stronger, like by working out with the muscle you have. You can engage the tissue you have and lose weight, if that makes sense. You just can't add lean muscle mass at the same time as being in a calorie deficit. You need to have the extra calories to add muscle mass. So, so you can certainly like reap a lot of benefits of exercise and weight training while you're in a calorie deficit. You just won't be adding the lean muscle. So I would, you know, you can, I mean, a lot of people tend to add muscle and then shred it down. Because you're gonna, the more muscle you add, you're also gonna be burning through more calories in your basal metabolic rate and your, you know, just day-to-day calorie burn, right? So I would, but it also kind of goes off what is the most important to you. Because I know, Kathy, you're very driven with the scale.
Yeah.
So I would hate for you to be, you know, put off by a plan because you're not seeing changes in the scale because it'll go up.
Yeah. So
I
let's
know-
say I would do this, because I would do the lose weight first, because I have to see that. So when I was at a weight that I was happy with the number, then I would do the build muscle because I want that too. But when you say in calorie surplus, are the calories all protein?
No, they're still macro based. They're balanced, and so they're just part of the plan. So when she talks about gaining muscle, you would bump up a bracket from maintenance. So you would still be doing that 40% carb, 30% protein, 30% healthy fat. You would just be elevating the calories each day.
All right, so it's still the containers, just more in each group.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
Yes.
I got it.
I was gonna say, because I haven't done one in a while. It's probably been like 6 months. When you do something you might want to try is doing the DexaFit scans, because you could be losing weight, but I know, like in my case, I would lose like, and it's not a large amount, but just let's say 5 pounds, 5 to 8 pounds. Even though I lost 8 pounds, I also would gain a little muscle, but I'm talking like half a pound. I mean, it's very small, but it was very encouraging for me because that told me that I was, you know, getting stronger and, you know, lifting heavier. And so, I mean, there's a little gain, but it's not going to be like a huge, you know, like, you know, you're not going to offset it, you know, lose 5 pounds and then gain 5 pounds of muscle. So that's what I noticed with my body. And so that just having that scan done was very encouraging for me to know that what I was doing was working for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
and those DEXA scans are the most accurate for, you know, telling you your body composition and then seeing change and progress as you go. And they're much more readily available than they used to be, which is nice.
And they're really inexpensive. So, I mean, you can get a Groupon and go get one for probably like $67, something like that, under 70. So.
Where do you get them? I haven't found a place where I am.
A lot of imaging places have it. I don't know where, Kelly, where did you get yours?
Mine is actually, it's called DexaFit. So it's just a DEXA scan. You can also do the 3D ones. I don't, that's just kind of I mean, you just get on this little scale and it rotates you around. It's not doing, you're not getting a really good scan out of that one, but it kind of gives you some information as to, and it's pretty close, but I mean, you truly want to get the one that is truly, I mean, you're laying on the table and it's literally looking of the, I guess, the layers of your body. It looks at your bone density. So that's something that's pretty cool too. I'll look at that. I mean, it's looking at several different things. I mean, you get a complete report. I don't know if it actually, I don't think it tells you how much water is in your body. I have to go back and look. I don't think it does, because we hold a lot of water weight too, right?
Yeah.
But it does tell you how much your fat weighs and how much your lean muscle weighs. And then, like I said, it looks at your bone density. It looks at your internal organs, how much fat you have on your internal organs. I mean, it's a lot of information.
Wow.
It's worth the money.
Is
I
it
think
covered by insurance?
Yeah, that would depend on your insurance. I mean, there's possibilities for, I mean, because some insurance covers health clubs too. So
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
you probably have to check with your individual insurance to see if it's something that would count.
If
Like
you
my-
Google DEXA scan in New York City, there's a whole bunch of places. So I would imagine there's a place around you, but if you just Google DEXA scan, it will
Yeah.
show you all the places that you can scan.
'Cause my imaging place does the DEXA for the bone density, because I go there, but they don't do this thing, DEXA scan.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh. That's weird that they would do the bone density, but they wouldn't do the rest, body composition.
Most
yeah.
of the gyms do that.
What?
Huh?
Doesn't
What?
most of the gyms do it? Because the gym here, where close to my house, they do that.
There are a
Just,
lot of
you
gyms.
need a
that have
membership.
it.
You don't need a membership. You just pay
Yeah.
like $5-10, and that's it.
I don't go, I mean, honestly, I've not been in a real gym in forever. So I think what they're actually offering is the 3D scan. And I don't think you're getting the best results out of that one. You truly need to ask for a DEXA scan versus a 3D scan. Two different things. I mean, if you
What's
Google
the-
it, it'll probably
what's-
tell you the difference between the two.
So,
So,
Deanna,
What's the difference between the one you're talking about? I have the Fit Track, and that mostly, I mean, tells you most of what you're saying, not the liver and all that, but
They're just more susceptible to being off. Like a DEXA is going to be the closest percentage to being on track. Other things can be hindered by variables on the like water and different things, like your scale. If you step on a scale and it has the pieces of metal in it that sends an electrode through to go through things, it can be off by quite a high percentage because of your water for that day or dehydrated for that day. So DEXA is just the most accurate in
Mhm.
getting things read. So we're going to move on from this though quick. Sue, did you have a
Okay.
question?
yeah, I was just going to try to get us back on track
Yeah.
because I'm curious about
We got a lot. Yeah, we got a lot to cover today.
There's
but
a lot to
if we
learn on this,
Certainly
guys.
talk about DEXA. I mean, because I know we've spent a few calls on that one, but we can talk about that in the group too, if there's certain questions you have or things about that. Okay, so any more questions about what bracket you should be in if you're a weight loss or, oh, I didn't cover really quick. So maintenance. Autumn has always maintained, and through all of my certifications, it has also been true that if you're within 10 pounds of where you feel you should be for a goal weight, now that can be a little subjective too, because I think sometimes we have a number in our head and that number may not be where your body's happiest. But so let's say you're within 10 pounds of where you'd like to be. That is the time to go into a maintenance mode. And the reason being your fat storage is already lower and your body needs to absolutely feel safe and like it's fueled and it's getting what it needs so it can let that fat go. And that's a long-term thought, right? Because of course, if you do a calorie deficit, in the short term, you can lose weight. But in the long term, your body's going to be like, hey, why are you eating in a deficit all the time? Okay. So you also may find if you've been dieting a lot, or if you're in a calorie deficit for a long time and things just aren't changing, then bump up to a maintenance bracket and eat for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Give your body a chance to just kind of get back on, get into that maintenance mode, and then you can go back down. It's just one of those things where your body really needs to feel like it's okay to let things go and feel like it's good to let it go. So, and in that 10-pound range, you're also going to find things are a little slower, right? It's slow. It takes longer to take that weight off, but you can see change in inches and you can see change in just how your clothes are fitting. maybe where you're putting muscle, maybe where you're storing things. Your body gets to decide where it takes off the fat, and it may not be exactly where you wanted it to be. So that's the other hard part, right? Like, I know right now, like my legs and my booty are like, I'm like, all right, we're getting there. But it's like, I'm holding it all in my waist lately. And that's pretty common for my age. I'm 47. It's just, that's where my body wants to hold it, because hormonally it's trying to help me through the perimenopause and what's to come. So it's going to want to hold it in my midsection. But I'm still at the same weight, right? So things can fluctuate a little bit. And unfortunately, we don't get to be in the most control of that. But maintenance is a really happy place, and not to be, like, I know if you've been in a calorie deficit for a long time, things aren't happening, I would definitely go into a maintenance for a while and just let your body kind of feel fueled, reset a bit, and then go back into a deficit. And you should see things start adjusting and changing.
How do you figure out your maintenance bracket? Do you just go
Yeah.
up one?
So no, so when you're figuring out with the formula, you know, you've taken your weight times 11 is for most of us. And then you're going to add in those calories for the workouts you do, depending on how hard the workout is. That's your maintenance. So it's then the next step after that is you take away the 750. That's your weight
Right.
loss bracket. Yeah. So maintenance
Okay.
is just your weight times 11 plus that workout calories. And most
Okay.
of the time it's 2 brackets up from weight loss.
Hmm.
So at least for me, it usually is, but not for you, Bev.
No, I'm in the exact same bracket.
I've never heard of
It's-
that. Wow.
It's lovely.
Special.
Yeah, I really feel special. Let me tell you.
Nothing
You
extra.
don't get any extra peanut butter. That's
All
horrible.
right.
Peanut butter.
Maybe
Well,
you
but
just
does
need to go up
anybody
above, go into that muscle mass mode. You'll be,
Well, that's why I've talked about doing that.
I think you should. I want to do it. I love to eat. I'm in.
Wow.
I am normally, like, I'm an A in weight loss, and I'll be honest, I think I ate an A for like a hot second, and I was like, this is not enough food for me. And so then I ate an B most of the time from weight loss, but C is my maintenance. But I was eating an E by the time I finished, D by the time I finished 80-day obsession. So you know, you can, and I was still losing weight and losing inches. And so you really got to kind of listen to your body. When it feels good, you'll feel it all happening.
Were you doing time nutrition when you were eating in D?
Did. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
That made a huge difference for me.
Huge.
I probably need to go back to that.
I think I'm going to. Yeah. So, okay. So let's get on to those things.
That's my nuts for my snack that I'm supposed to be eating right now.
I love it. So, okay. So after you figured out what your goal is, where your calorie bracket is, now we've got these different ways of using Portion Fix, right? So you've got the regular foundation plan. This is basically the first set of videos. It is the Fit Fast Track, and it is basically using the containers all through your day, and that's your plan, right? So you get to group them. You can decide how many meals you're doing. You're in charge of how that looks. The goal is just eating all the containers you've been allotted in the day. Now, the next one is time nutrition. And I thought it was interesting because, and I guess I hadn't really thought about this, but she feels this is the easiest track because she tells you what and when to eat. And that makes sense. I always figured time nutrition felt harder for some reason, but it's just because of the prep. And good. Okay. Jen agrees. So if you are new to Portion Fix, then she's really kind of suggesting this is a great way to start because she's grouping things for you. And with time nutrition, it's excellent around a workout. So she has the meal you have before your workout, you do your workout, then the meal you have after your workout, and then you have 3 more meals that you can put them at different timing. You just can't change the containers around. Does that make sense? So you could take meal option 2 and have it first instead of meal option 1 or 3, but you can't take a yellow from meal option 2 and move it into meal option 5, right? You have to keep the grouping of containers that she's assigned, but you get to pick when those 3 meals are after your workout. So the bonus of Time Nutrition is she really is balancing your macros through the day. She is giving you the energy that is most required at the times it's required. And I have to say, it is the best I have ever felt on a nutrition plan was during Time Nutrition, which is funny to say because I don't do it all the time. And I'm kind of wondering why I don't do it all the time, because I know how amazing I felt during 80 Day Obsession. And I think a lot of you guys have felt that way when you've done Time Nutrition too. So any questions with Time Nutrition?
I agree with you. I felt the best and got amazing results when I followed the Time Nutrition, even when I went on vacation to Hawaii for 2 weeks in the middle of it and went on a couple of events and I stuck to my Time Nutrition. I was just very diligent. And I, to your point of the fact that she lays it all out for you and it's so easy to follow. Okay, I have a purple and a blue. What do I eat?
Yeah.
I know what a purple is. I know what a blue is. Okay. They don't have to go together. I don't have to make a whole meal, that's what a lot of people are like, oh my God, I have to make a meal with an orange and a blue and a red. Like, well, okay, well, what do you want to eat for red? They don't all have to go together. It could be on the same plate, but you don't have to make a huge meal. Make it hard for yourself. Just, find something that fits within those categories and then eat that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I think people do get hung up on that, right? Like, well, how do I combine these things? So you just fill the container. I do a shot of sunflower seeds all the time because I don't eat a lot of salads when it's not summer. So it's like sunflower seeds and there's my orange.
Yeah. Yep. It's
All
funny,
right.
my 2-year or my 3-year results. So I did 2 rounds of 80 Day Obsession. It actually just came up today.
Oh, nice.
I finished my 2nd round of 80 Day Obsession 3 years ago today. I was like, wow.
Yeah. So anybody knew that's when Time Nutrition came out, was with 80 Day Obsession. And it was such a game changer. I mean, just that program and the nutrition itself was great.
It is, for sure.
So we also have now, so we have another option that she's always had since Extreme came out, 21 Day Extreme, which is carb cycling. And I thought the way she laid this out was really great because I feel like people have used carb cycling as if it's a long-term plan. And she was very clear that this should not be done more than 3 weeks. And when you've done it for 3 weeks, you need to go back to either a timed or a foundational fix plan for 3 months before you do it again.
Really?
So, yeah. So carb depletion is carb cycling is carb depletion. She has a plan where you're doing 2 days on and 1 day carb depletion. I believe it was. There's a whole calendar in there. You'll have to look. I think there might be multiple options. But the reason she says you should do it just for the 3 weeks and then go back on for 3 months is, one, your body adapts. So the change you get from that 3 weeks, you won't get those same changes if you keep doing it consistently, the carb cycling. So it should be used for an event, something specific, like maybe you have a reunion to go to or something.
Yeah,
And
2 weeks I have a
yep, you have
reunion.
a high school reunion to go to. So that would be perfect. Like, that's the time you use carb cycling. And the reason why is you're pulling carbs out of your diet. And in that 3-week time, you're not going to have a lot of fat loss. You are going to have water loss. So you are slimming down, tightening up, but it's really your body losing more water than fat. You'll have some fat loss. But when you then start back on a regular plan like Foundation Fix or Time Nutrition, you will gain some weight back. So let's say if you lost 5 pounds in the carb cycling, you may gain 3 of it back. when you start back up again, because you're then hydrating your muscles again. You're putting those carbs back in to be ready to work. And that's the difference it makes. And that's why you should do it for a limited amount of time. She is definitely, and most of our trainers are definitely not fans of a low carb lifestyle, especially
It's not good. I carb cycled for, I don't know, like 6 or 9 months. And it wasn't like your body. I guess that's the thing, is people demonize carbs, but your body legitimately needs carbs. That doesn't mean that it needs the French fries from McDonald's, but it needs like really good carbs. And when you take that away from your body, the long-term ramifications of it is just not good. And you're just overall not a very happy individual.
right. I would agree. And carbs really are just helpful. I mean, they're an energy source, right? And just like what Mariana said, it's not about ice cream versus no carbs, right? That's not, or whatever it is, right? French fries versus no carbs. Those aren't the options. There is a happy medium where you're eating good quality, nutritious food and they're carbs, and your body uses them well and knows what to do with them. So that's what the portion fix is really about, why we have the food lists. So Jen just said you look like Autumn, Mariana.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Jen. Really quick about the carb. I kind of just want to double down on something briefly, and I'll give it back to you, Deanna. When it comes to carb cycling, when I say that you're not a happy individual, you have difficulty. Like, it's not just about your body, but mentally. You find yourself not necessarily in a fog, but you can't concentrate. You're not sleeping that great. Your just overall focus is just not there, because your brain actually fuels itself from the carbs that you're giving it. It's just important. That's why, another reason why when you're eating carbs, you want to choose like good sustenance carbs. I think Sue had posted today, don't eat crap.
Yeah.
I felt a little attacked by the A when I saw the bag of goldfish, but that's for another day. But the point is that you want to make sure that you're fueling yourself with carbs. And if you do carb cycle, Kathy, if you're thinking about it, I'd encourage you to do it for a very limited time, because you'll get headaches, like the long term of it, like headaches, brain fog, unable to concentrate. Like, it's not worth the trade-off and seeing like the numbers on the scale go down. I mean, I've said this before.
I did it once years ago, not cycling, cutting them out. I had a trainer and he had me cut out everything. I did it for like 7 months. I got down 40 pounds. I was flying on cloud 9. I felt great. I had muscle definition. I was so happy, but life got in the way and it all came back.
Life
but I
does
felt
that.
great. I felt great.
But that's okay. It's not the number on the scale. We love you just the way you are.
But I don't love me the way I am.
Aww.
That's the problem.
That's what we're working on.
Yeah. Not in the mirror. I like me, but I don't like what I see in the mirror or in pictures.
You're beautiful the way you are.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a conversation we all need to have again too. Go ahead, Bev.
And how many years ago did you say this was?
Me? You talking?
Yeah.
From August 2009 to March 2010.
Okay, so 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So you are in a different phase of your body's life.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had to realize that myself. Like, I mean, as much as, age is just a number, it also isn't. Like, there are different things that occur. So we have to realize that at certain times in our lives, our bodies need something else versus where we were, I mean, not that children need it, but so my teenage son right now, he could eat 5 million yellows and not gain, anything. But it's because that's where he's at. But then my 25-year-old or 24-year-old, he's almost at that stage where if he doesn't start paying attention to what he's eating, there's a possibility that he's going to start gaining, but he hasn't made that shift yet.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, so we kind of, I mean, there's different phases, not just teenage years to our 20s. I mean, it changes as we age. So,
My body's down now.
hmm?
My body's broken down now. Between the hips and the knees, there's a lot of stuff I can't do.
Well, yeah. And and your body needs the food. It needs the food. So yeah, to cut carbs. And also sometimes that extended period of carb cutting can actually wreak havoc on our metabolism and on our body in a way that while we might feel good, things went on in the background that you didn't realize. And then when you introduce those carbs back in, that's why, you know, your weight went up and why you might be struggling now to bring it back down. You just really don't know. Because it's not like most of us don't have a physician working with us on a daily basis or on a weekly basis all of our life. So it's difficult to know like what was going on in the background. So.
All right, so we'll move on to the next category. So carb cycling, only once in a while, only for a limited time. Make sure you watch the video on that. She used it for competition. That was why it was included in Extreme. So you could get that last like peak week or that last little bit to drop a little bit more. Okay. So the new one is intermittent fasting. And that piece, it's kind of interesting because Autumn has traditionally been against intermittent fasting. So we were all shocked when she brought it in. And I would say this video takes a very nice middle of the road line with it. She was very clear. It will work well for some. It was not a blanket statement of you should do intermittent fasting, which I totally appreciate. We have talked a lot on this call about intermittent fasting and other things we've read. A lot of us have read the book Roar. And she talks about not training. You're not a tiny man. Don't train like one, basically. So let's talk about intermittent fasting. Basically, in this plan, you have the option of a 12-12 window, which if you've done portion fix before, you've likely already been at a 12-12 window. If you've done To Be Mindset, you for sure had a 12-12 window because once you're dinner and done, you've likely got 12 hours until that breakfast happens again. So that's a pretty simple, common plan. It's easy to get your containers in a 12-hour window. There really shouldn't be any complication with that. It really is just finishing that dinner and then not eating again until you're ready for breakfast the next day. And you should be roughly at a 12-hour window. The other window is a 16-8. So 16 hours of fasting, 8-hour window for eating. It can be a little more challenging to get all the containers in an 8-hour window. So what Autumn did with this plan is she went to the food list and put an IF next to foods that are not quite as dense, may feel a little lighter, may digest easier so that you can get those containers in. And then the second thing she did, she grouped them into 3 larger meals. So there is a PDF in the plan that has containers for these 3 larger meals because most people on IF in that shorter window tend to do like a 2 or 3 meal time. So you can then group them in that way. And that's really, I think that's all I wrote. Oh, the performance line has to be in your feeding window. So if you are working out fasted, then you're just not getting to use your performance line or you're breaking the fast. Some people kind of poo-poo that, but really any calories break a fast. That's just the way it is. So I know there's some people who are big on IF and they say, well, if it's under 30 or if it's under 15 or I don't know, there's always a magic number, but truly the way it's written, if you eat the calories, it breaks the fast. So you just want to have your window. Is anybody considering IF?
It was until you told me I couldn't drink Energize before I work out in the morning. So I'm
And
just
I'm
gonna
out,
back out of that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's
Feel
where I
free.
draw the line. Don't take my Energize or my Recover, friends, or
I'm-
Shakeology.
I was doing the same thing. I was just thinking, oh, I could do that 12-hour window. And then I was like, then I'd have to have dinner by 5:30. And I don't think that's possible.
Oh, do you eat at 5? So you take your Energize at 5:30?
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What
You
time do you go to sleep, Kim?
Usually 10.
After Energize at 5:30?
no, 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
PM. I was like, wow, Kim, tell me more.
We have
about
done it
this.
at night. We talked to Kim one night when she was on it for the night.
So does water break the fast?
No, that's 0 calories. And black coffee is fine. Tea with nothing in it is fine.
Black coffee, no.
Yeah, black coffee's okay.
Oh.
Yep. Black coffee, tea with nothing. Yeah. So this will be, depending on the thing she doesn't with when you're following Portion Fix, and the important part here is you are getting a macro you're getting a set of macros meant to fuel your body for workouts to feel good, right? You're at this 40 30 30, and with IF, some people tend to take it to, I can just eat what I want as long as it's in this window. And she wants to be very clear. You still need to get in your containers, no matter what window you've chosen, because otherwise you're not fueling yourself, right? You're not getting to that macro percentage. You're not getting the calories designated for the workload you're putting in or what your body requires according to the bracket that, you've selected for your goal. So that is a critical piece, because I know in the past it does feel like IF can be one of those things where it's like, I can just have anything as long as it's in my window. So just FYI, nope, not on Portion Fix.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So going back to like the drinks, I was thinking, and I wasn't quick enough to switch my mute button, but what about like flavored, not kind of like True Lemon? We talked about True Lemon the other day. Would that break the fast?
Well, it's 0 calories, so I guess technically not. But like we talked about with the sugar call, you're still going to have a brain hit for that. Like you're still going to have your body, I think, feeling like you've had some sugar.
Okay, because I wondered about that, and also too, because I chew gum like a crazy person. So chewing gum, I wondered.
That's caloric, unless it's 0 calorie gum, but I would guess if it's caloric, yes. But that's a good question. I haven't seen that come up anywhere. That would be, I'll search a group and see what I can find about that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's interesting to think about.
I would think that anything that would start the like the sugar, even if it's non-caloric, your body still starts to go through the cycle of, I don't know.
Like it's getting something to digest.
That's
Yeah.
digestion.
Right.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
signaling like, hey,
We
there's
talked about
something we got
that.
to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it is 10 calories.
Oh, well
You
then it
know
for
that.
sure is.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I thought, was it 15 calories is
There is
what?
no,
figured
with autumn, it's 0 or it's caloric.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've heard like 15 calories or something.
Yeah.
So. Oh, well, okay. Well, in my head, I didn't think it was that bad. Well, at least I don't eat a meal. I mean, that's my deal. I don't want to eat the extra meal in the morning. So I just chew gum. So works for me.
So Jen asked about benefits of IF. I think that's some people do really well with just an eating window mentally, right? Just saying these are the times I get to eat, and it allows them not to do extra snacking, and it keeps them on a set pattern. As far as like your body health, I don't know what's been proven I don't believe there's a lot of studies that have proven there's a lot of things. It does give your digestion a break, but you also naturally get that in a 12-12, right? Or just not eating up until bed. The studies as far as how IF does with like athletes has been done on young males and not on females, and especially not on females in a lot of our age range. So there's really not a lot out there to prove that it's a benefit for us. And one of the things she talks about, and I'll go through these, but she talks about really noticing how you feel. And I think that's the most important part of no matter what plan you're picking, is the plan isn't the magic. It's how you feel doing whatever plan you've decided to do. And sometimes you just have to change what you're doing to feel better, because it's not like there's some magic to IF. And it can, especially in this age group, cause like your body to feel more stressed out. If you're not like, I know I probably would mentally be stressed out not having breakfast in the morning. But it's one of those things where if it is creating stress on your body, you're creating more cortisol, and then that's just going to be bad things for you, right? Lack of sleep, just things out of whack. I know when I had high cortisol issues, my afternoons were awful, could barely get off a couch. And then I'd be up in the middle of the night and it was just a mess. And I felt like a mess and brain fog and awful stuff. But
Why was that?
why was I having a high cortisol level?
Mm-hmm.
So I had gone on a topical acne medication and it messed me up. Like I started getting migraines all the time, and like I started having I used to get ocular migraines too, or the aura, right? So I would have like snow, like on a gray day, up to 2 years after getting off of it, I still had a little bit of snow. Like I finally am pretty much normal, but like if I get in a place like, like a bowling alley with lots of lights and loud music, I can't be in there very long. I start feeling like I'm going to get out of whack again. So yeah, my body just kind of got thrown off track by all that. And then it just took a really long time for me to recover from those constantly occurring migraines, and just slowly, restoring from that and just figuring it out. And that was probably, I don't know, it was like a decade ago now. It feels like forever, but yeah.
So I intermittent fasted, and that was what I was doing prior to my crash. So, and I did it, but I was doing a lot of other things incorrect. So, I guess maybe the biggest thing for me was that I wasn't sleeping enough. So, on top of other stressors. So, and like, I was just running myself basically into the ground. So, and what was ironic was that it was going to Florida for 2 weeks and pretty much going nonstop for 2 weeks in Florida between going to Disney. I was still eating a good breakfast. We brought our lunches, we brought our Shaco, but we ate out most nights, and we also had a lot of desserts. I had more bread. It was before I was gluten-free. I had more breads, I had more sugar. Pretty much every single day there was some type of treat within those 2 weeks. So I was doing my workouts, was walking like 12, 13 miles a day between Disney and Universal Studios. And about the only day was like a beach day, and there was like maybe 2 days that we stayed back at the condo. But other than that, it was just nonstop. And I didn't follow my fasting window when I did that, but it was that pretty much like took me over the edge and did me in. So my body, but I felt fine on it like before, but my chiropractor kept telling me that something was going on, like for months, probably for almost a year. He was telling me every so often, something is going on, your body's not adjusting properly, because at that point in time, I would go see him probably at least bi-weekly. And he could just tell that there was something off, and I would take my workouts back down to something a little less intense. And then I would get back into a kind of a good rhythm, and he could adjust me, and then I'd go the other way again. So it definitely, I think it played a role in increasing a underlying stress, and then it caused gut issues, and now I have a bunch of food sensitivities.
Yeah, and it was interesting because Autumn went through a whole set of food sensitivity issues too. And she had a bacteria that was really difficult to get rid of, but through that caused a lot of issue. So the key to all this, and I don't want to sound like such a Debbie Downer on IF, I just want to really implore you to like pay attention to how you're feeling, right? So one, are you starving? And this is with any plan you're on, right? Are you starving? Like ravenous, hungry? You're likely not getting enough food, right? Do you have low energy? How is your sleep? Are you sleeping well through the night? Do you have brain fog? So all of those things matter because you should feel fueled, ready. I mean, you're going to have afternoons or days that are high and low, right? That happens in general. Like, how are you feeling on a plan? And when you start these plans, you definitely want to give it a little time. Like say you've been in a calorie deficit and you're going into maintenance. You know, if that's a 2 bracket bump, maybe hit the first bracket for a week or 2 and then get into the maintenance bracket. But give it some time because it is going to feel a little different for the first 1 to 2 weeks. And your body has to adjust to things, but your body is smart and it will adjust and it will take on that fuel. And you'll really know you're in a great plan when you're ready for that next meal. You're not dying before the next meal, right? You're not like, oh my God, when do I get to eat again? But you're ready for that next meal. And you know, everything seems to be working in line, sleep, energy, you're feeling good in your workouts, all of those things. So that's the important piece of any of this is that you are feeling good. And the nice thing about any kind of plan like this is like with food sensitivities, you'll start to notice times or days or meals where you feel a little off because you're feeling pretty good. So then when you have a food that maybe doesn't agree with you, you have a better chance of kind of noticing it, I think. And then you can kind of go into that and see if maybe there's foods that are better for you. Did you have a question, Kathy?
Yeah, I have a question for all the people that work out in the morning. Is there a consensus, better or worse? Do you eat breakfast before you work out? Do you wait till after? If you eat it before, how long do you wait? What should you do?
So I am a little bit of an anomaly. Actually, no, Robin isn't with us this evening. So I'm kind of savage. I'll drink my Energize and then I'll go straight to my workout. And that's the only thing I have in my system. But some days I'll wake up and I'll be hungry. So I'll have my Energize with a small protein blueberry muffin. And within 30 minutes, but I'm somebody that can eat and work out and it won't be an issue. Other people are need to actually digest their food, but I'm just I don't have time for that. I just got to go.
Yeah, I just have my energizing and go because it's too early.
Yeah, sometimes it's too early to eat first thing in the morning, even though I know Autumn has talked about eating within the first hour waking up, but sometimes that just doesn't sound appealing.
Because I'm just wondering if you eat, sometimes if I eat breakfast, then I'm just too full to work out, but maybe I had too big of a breakfast.
What do you eat for breakfast?
Usually eggs and fruit.
And she talks about this actually in her FAQs too, and in the plan. But when you're on Time Nutrition, and Kathy, you can see that in the 80-day obsession food guide, you can see what Time Nutrition looks like. She talks about there's 2 meals before and after your workout. The meal before your workout is slated to be larger than the meal after your workout, but you can actually bump those. So I believe if you're on plan B, it's a protein and a fruit after your workout. So you can swap that and have that before and then have your bigger meal after. So that you can still be in your plan and do that, but not have as much food beforehand. Now, she's a big proponent of eating before a workout. There isn't like studies that say it's better or worse to be fasted or not fasted. It's really how much you're able to give to your workout, how good you feel. Because there's studies going both ways saying, you know, fasting, you're burning more calories, or fueled, you're burning more calories. So I think it's one of those things, if you're fasted and you're not getting through your workouts well, like you don't have enough energy, or you're not lifting as heavy, or you're not doing as much, then you need to try it fueled. And if you're eating too much, right, and it's not feeling right, then adjust that down to a smaller amount and then try that, and then but still make up for it after by having your container so that you're still getting the right calories in for the day.
So there's no right or wrong.
There
It's
isn't.
how you feel. Okay.
There isn't.
Just
It is
wondering.
that you can give your best to your workout, because that's where you're burning the calories, right? The more you're giving in that workout, the better your workout's going to be, the more calories you're going to burn, the more muscle you're going to put on. You know, you have your lean mass, less fat, all the things.
And what's this? Like, I don't have any products. What's the Energize that everybody talks about?
Yeah, so that's our pre-workout, and a lot of us refer to it as Go Juice. It's a little hit of, it's got a little bit of caffeine, and I'm going to mess up the name. It's like quercetin. Do you know how to say it, Beverly? Quercetin? Okay. So it's that is that helps you actually be more engaged in your workout during the workout also. So it all helps you give a little bit of a boost, and it's not like having a Coke boost. It's a little less, like there's no jitter. It's not like having a cup of coffee for me. I feel different on it, but you're just kind of ready, and you get a little bit of tingle in your hands, and you're ready to go get your workout done. And then in your workout, it's been proven to show that you can do more in your workout. You're able to stay in the reps longer. You're able to push in it more. So that's just, and then Recover is the other product a lot of us use too. That's a BCAA that you drink after. It's a fast absorbing protein set, so that within that 30 minutes of finishing, it's replenishing your muscles with protein and glycogen so that they can be ready to roll the next day, and you are able to repair and replenish through your day.
Do those two things count toward any containers?
They do not if they are taken at the right time. So if you, Energize is a freebie. Recover, if you take it within 30 minutes of your workout, it is a freebie. If you take it outside of that, it's a red.
Oh, okay.
All right. So how is everybody feeling? And I just wanted to say, sorry, really quick. So there's also a video on pre and postnatal. So if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, there's a separate food plan. Vegan, vegetarian, she has a video for that. And then also a kids plan. And I meant to watch the kids plan before we started here today, but I didn't get a chance to. So there's a lot of information still all in the plan. It's just much more simplified. And at any point, if anyone has questions on Portion Fix, it's great to just throw it in the group, because it's so likely that if you have the question, somebody else has the question. And it's just great for us to talk about, you know, these different sets of information. And especially if you're new to a nutrition plan, it's helpful to kind of hear how other people are handling things.
So this is a plan called the new Portion Fix or
It's
something?
just called Portion. So it used to be Ultimate Portion Fix, and now it's back to Portion Fix. So there is just a singular plan. It because it released with 21 Day Fix as Portion Fix. And
Right.
then they got more in depth, right? More videos, more information. And I think people are feeling like the amount of information was just a little overwhelming, and you couldn't quite get through enough videos to just get started right away. So they've just simplified it down, less videos, packed with information so that you can just get started right away.
So it's only the nutrition part? There's no exercises in that one?
Right. So this is just the nutrition plan with Portion Fix. It goes with all plans, all workouts. So you
Okay.
can do it with any workout plan you're doing.
Okay.
Oh, and that was the other thing I forgot to say. She talked about recalculating, and I don't know that many of us do that very often. I feel like I don't do it very often, but it's one of those things where you should be recalculating every 30 days or according to the program you're on. So if you're doing like 21-day fix, then you would recalculate at the end of that program before you start the next program.
Recalculate what?
Your calorie bracket, what your goal is, where you want to be, you know, like, do you stay in a deficit? Do you go to maintenance? So you're recalculating according to your weight changes, according to your goal changes.
I know
Okay.
like in 80-day obsession, they had you recalculate like every phase.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly. All right, you guys. Well, I have to shut this down because I got to go celebrate a 17-year-old. But if you have questions from tonight, just drop them in the recording or drop them in the group. And we can decide, you know, depending on questions or how we're feeling about things, if we want to revisit this again next week or just go with a different topic. So,
Picture,
Picture.
oh, yeah.
picture.
Picture. All right, we ready? Cheese. All right, you guys. Well, I'll get this recording into the group. And yeah, any questions, just please ask. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Dan.
Good night.
All right. Have a great night.
Thank you.